All right.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back. If you are rejoining us, welcome. If this is your first time. My name is Marissa Price. I am a social worker, healer, business educator, dedicated to creating safe spaces on the internet for Black women to heal, to share our stories authentically, to share knowledge, community resources, all of those things. And so today I'm so excited. I have a lovely guest with me, Yvonne, and I will pass it over to her to introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. I hate this question because I never know what to say.
I know.
um, I do. You're just like, okay, who am I? So
Yes.
first of all, I hope you guys can hear me well. I got some noise going in the background,
Hmm.
so okay, good.
Yep.
So I'm gonna give you guys a scripted version of who I am. Hi, everyone. I'm Yvonne, and so I'm originally from Colorado. So originally from Colorado, and I'm currently in the southern part of the US. Um, and so a little bit about
Okay.
me, I'm curious, I'm a learner. I love to research stuff like when I get on a topic and I'm like, or even if it's a problem, I'm like, let me research this and see what this is all about. And I go
Hmm.
down rabbit holes. So, and I
Me
think that,
too.
yes, girl. Um, the natural part of me is that I'm a seeker of positivity. I love to laugh and I love freedom. Um, and then also outside of that, I'm an avid traveler. If the money's right and the situation's right, I'm there. I don't care where it is. I've lived in China. I've been to so many states in the US. But yeah, and then I think the proudest title that I haven't been doing it professionally in a while, but I'm also a jazz vocalist as well. So that's who I am.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, and I did want to ask you just about your career as a jazz vocalist.
Yes.
Like, how did this all start? Because I thought that was so
Okay.
interesting when you told me that.
Yeah. Like ever since I was a kid, I was singing all around the house ever since I was little. Um, and then I went to college and
Hmm.
I didn't declare. I was taking music classes, but I didn't declare right away because you had to audition and I couldn't read music. And so, with all my little insecurities, I was like, I'm not doing that. And then finally, in my 20s, I went ahead, auditioned, even though I didn't know anything. And I got accepted into the school and I did my degree in jazz studies. So, but yeah,
Oh wow,
why
jazz
I'm a jazz
studies. That's
vocalist.
amazing.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so gifted. And I feel like all of these like creative gifts that we have can be really useful in healing from toxic work
Yes,
environments, right? Tapping back into the things that we've been gifted with, right? Our
that's right.
creativity. I know Alicia Renese talks about this a lot, but tapping back into that side of yourself,
Yes,
right?
and I
To
love her
heal.
too. Yes.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask you just like about your experience, like going to the topic of the conversation for today, like
Yes.
your experiences in toxic jobs over the years, and any
Oh,
red flags that you may have noticed now looking back. You know, hindsight is 2020. When you're in it, you're not always able to see what's
nope.
happening. But what are some of the
Right.
red flags
Um,
that you may have
so I'll
noticed
start
in
here. Um, there were so many things that happened in these past jobs, but I'll talk about some like really general things because you have to understand I've had many years in corporate America, so I've had many jobs. So I have a lot of stories to pull from. So, but let me just give some general things, some maybe some things that you guys have heard from other people. So, in past jobs, my past experiences, I'll talk about the basic things that I've experienced. Um, so, the unfair treatment of you versus your coworkers, and you can sense that, right? So, like
Mhm.
you might be in a team of people, and your supervisor is treating the others better than he or she would treat you, meaning that they have everything they need. They seem to be having no problems doing their job. They seem to be getting along with everybody, but here you are over to the side. You don't have what you need. You're confused all the time, and you're suffering. Your job, you know, you're not being effective at your job, right? So there's that. Um, Being left out of meetings, Marissa, that's a big one, especially
Mm.
ones that are important to how you do your job. That's a big red flag for you to get up out of there as soon as you can. I'm
Mm.
sorry, but when you start experiencing these unfair practices and treatment, you need to get out of there because it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. Okay. But then let me mention some other things. There is the setup to fail. And we know this from Jackie Abrams. I know we'll talk about her later. So you're set up to
Mm-hmm.
fail, right? You're given vague instructions or you're not given anything at all. And then they expect you to be good at your job and do what you're supposed to do, right? Hire to fire, which is really common for Black people. They're like, oh, there's our quota. We just got our quota.
Oh.
She's Black. Let's get her in
Oh.
here. And then we're going to push her out because we just hired her to fire her. Then there's the workhorse. I know I heard you talking about that's one of your favorite things to talk about, right? So that's piling so much work on you
Yeah.
that it breaks your back. And they expect some crazy inhuman things out of you because you're Black. They don't see you as human. So they're like, let's pile all this work and this other person's work in hopes that it'll break them and they won't come back to the job. And then there is and I think I'm saying this backwards. Sorry. There's
No,
I
you're
think
fine.
it's inspire to conspire. So
Mm.
you've got all these people like, so first your job starts suffering, right? You're not doing well in your job, and then all of a sudden you've got all these people, so your supervisor doesn't like you, right? Or one person doesn't like you, and then now they start inspiring everyone else to conspire against you, to watch you. Oh, she's late all the time, she's doing this, she's doing that, let's get her up out of here, right? And then there's another one that we all know. And if you could, please tell me who created this pet to threat. Dr. Kamani had those ladies on. You
Mm-hmm.
go, you grow from this novel person. Oh, she's Black, she's new, she's cute, she's great. Yes, Fiat, I mentioned that, the workhorse. But yeah, she's
Mm-hmm.
novel, she's new, she's great. Oh, she's so cute. She's working with us. And then as soon as you do something great, you are a threat
Mm-hmm.
now. How dare you come in here showing your Black, you know what, doing a good
Mm-hmm.
job, usurping me and my authority, making me look bad. I'm supposed to be the one who's always looking good. How dare you come in here, get her up out of here, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then let's see, what else did I say? I think that's about it. That's what I have in my notes here. But yeah, there's a lot of really toxic stuff happening, and so those have been some of my experiences. Um,
Mm.
I mean, I had a boss who actually took credit for a lot of work I did about 7 years ago. I was in a big corporate job, and I was taking care of 32 people domestically and abroad. Okay, 32 people. I'm doing
Wow.
travel. Y'all, I had no idea I had a gift for event planning. I put together these events that were really successful. He took all the credit for it, shadowed me. By the end of that job, I was in tears. I had never been in that situation. I was in
Mm-hmm.
tears. Do you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just some of the things I experienced. I could go on,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't want to be here all night.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the term you shared, yes, from pet to threat, coined
Yeah.
by Dr. Keisha Thomas, Dr. Rosemary Phelps, and Dr. Juanita Johnson Bailey.
Yes.
Yeah, and just learning that term right while I was in the middle of a toxic job, not realizing what I was experiencing, stumbling across Dr. Kamani's channel and hearing her mention that term sent me down. Like you said, I'm a research like nerd too. I will go down rabbit holes if I find a topic that interests me.
Absolutely.
In seeing how closely my experiences mirrored everything that they laid out,
Yes.
it was like to a T.
Yeah.
And then hearing other Black women share their stories of, I've also experienced from pet to threat in the
Yep.
workplace, right? Being brought in for our skill set, for everything that we can bring to the table, being able to fulfill all the job responsibilities and overfill them, right? Go above and beyond. And then all of a sudden people think that you're trying to take their job, right?
Exactly.
So
And
you're
not
like
only
pushed
that,
out. Mm-hmm.
right. and you're threatening their white mediocrity. How about that? How you
It's
gonna
true.
threaten me?
True.
I'm up here not doing the most. You supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
out here doing the work for everybody and me and everybody else. I
Yep.
don't think so, baby.
Yep.
Slavery's over.
It's true. It's very true.
Hmm.
Yep. That part. That part. Yep. Yep.
They didn't get the memo. It's still Juneteenth for them. They didn't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, a lot of, well, I'll speak for myself. I was unprepared entering this, right? So being educated in white schools all of my life, being primed basically to enter this pipeline into white work environments too, not realizing that I would experience this level of mistreatment. So I was unprepared.
Yeah.
Versus if we start preparing people entering the workforce, right? Coming out of college, that this is what you might experience. And like Jackie Abram mentions all the time, which we'll talk about in a second, being prepared for that, right? Start documenting on day one what people are doing so that you have a case if it does end up going the way that a lot of these go, where you have to pursue a severance agreement because they're targeting you in the workplace.
Yes.
Yeah.
And can I say something to you? I have to tell you, it's not your fault that you weren't prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you why. I remember when I first started experiencing things, I didn't know what they were, right? Because here's the thing, even though we're around white people all the time, you're still not prepared for what it's like to really experience the trauma from them. And I guess what I'm trying to say is this. I think there's some spaces that if you weren't used to before that, like say you're a young Black woman in your 20s, more than likely your surroundings were Black, right? And even if they weren't, you still didn't have any experience in corporate America. So it's like
Not
a new
at
bag
all.
of tricks, right? Yeah. So it's a new bag of tricks. They're like, let's get her. She doesn't know what this is, but we're going to get her. And so unfortunately, over time, you begin to get used to the games and you're like, oh, I understand what this is. So now it's just a matter of you adapting and learning the skills to help you navigate. That's what it really is. Because I used to blame myself. I used to do that self-gaslighting, right? Because I've heard this talked about too on different channels, and you talk about it. You get so used to the toxicity and trauma, you start self-gaslighting. You're like, oh, well, maybe. No, it's not maybe. It's what you're experiencing. Or you have other informed people in your circle. It might be family, it might be friends. Oh, girl, stay in that job. That you always walking away from good jobs. That was me. Because, baby, I'm a track star. You start acting crazy with me, baby, I will run. You hear me? Track star all the way. I'm gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, just to tell you that wasn't your fault. But look at you now.
Oh,
Look
thank
at you
you.
now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Seriously, I do. Let's see. Mukbang Muga, hello. Says, I am just now learning how important it is to choose the right job. Yeah.
Me too.
That's key.
And I'm 46, girl. So I know.
Yeah. And like Yvonne said, like, we're not prepared for this. Like, so it's not any of our faults. Like, we're just now learning a lot of this. As we are feeling safe enough to like share our experiences and see where they overlap.
Absolutely.
That gives us like a roadmap to be able to be prepared in the future for things that we might encounter. But a lot of us are just sent out and not given the tools, not given the education, what to be prepared for, how to protect yourself in these environments. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's so real. Hello.
Hey, Alicia.
Yes. Yes. Just talking about you.
I know. I need to talk to Alicia.
Yes. Fiat says, I will quit a job in a nanosecond. Okay.
Girl, me too. Yeah, me and Fiat talked about that. Look, like I told you, I'm a track star. Give me them Nikes. I'm out. Peace. Goodbye.
Yes.
I'm out.
Ooh, yes. And yeah, something else you mentioned, right? The surveillance. I think that's so important to touch on. Kind of overseeing your work all the time, right? Taking a magnifying glass to it, especially in comparison to your other colleagues who that might not happen to. But your work is put under a microscope, right? To look for mistakes and errors. And that's real. That is the case for a lot of us in these toxic workplaces. Just that hyper surveillance of everything that we do. right? Coming and
Absolutely.
going, our work being scrutinized.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
real. That's real. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm glad you mentioned that. So I'm going to talk about a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I was going to be like, oh, I don't remember that. Oh, I do remember that very well. So I had a job where we use G Suite, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
there were things that we had to do in Google Sheets. Now, you know that if you share something, a lot of
Yeah.
people can see you as you're working in it.
Yeah.
When Well, that was happening to me. I was doing so I was training with someone and she was teaching me some stuff and I would go into the spreadsheet
Mm-hmm.
and I would be in there doing the stuff she taught me, but I was so green at it. I really didn't know what I was doing. So people were seeing me in real time make mistakes. And I saw all kind of people that shouldn't have been in that spreadsheet. I was like, I don't know who this is. But I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
look. I'm gonna tell you something. Here's what I know, because especially after having worked with this person and gotten to know them, um, with all the trauma and the toxicity that I experienced on this specific job, she was one to do that. She liked to embarrass people. She had this desire to put you on blast to other people, especially if you're making mistakes, to highlight your inability to
Mm-hmm.
do something. It's almost like it made her powerful. And
Mm-hmm.
so there was one thing in particular that I was having trouble doing all the time. And I told her about it over and over. I was like, hey, girl, I need you to, slow down, teach me this so that I really get it. She knew I wasn't getting it, but other people were in looking at me flail and make mistakes. And so that was the whole surveillance of it all. I mean, it's really insidious how they do this, how these jobs do this. They do it in ways that you wouldn't even think. It's very creative, but very evil,
Mm-hmm.
very evil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yep. Ooh.
yeah,
Yep. Using your creativity to spy on people to make people's
yeah,
lives miserable.
yeah.
That's what you
That's
use
so
it for.
awesome. Isn't that great?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't think
Yeah.
so.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm sorry that that
yeah.
happened to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm good
Um,
now.
yeah. And something else you touched on, right? The quota, um, the
Hmm.
quota system, right? Bringing in Black employees a lot to check a box and not viewing us as human beings once we get there. It's like,
Isn't
oh,
that
you have
crazy?
opinions? You have opinions? You're sharing opinions now? We just wanted you to fill the checkbox so that we can use you for advertising.
Yeah,
Like, no, but
yeah.
that's
We
real.
we yeah. We just want to be able to say, see, there it is. We have a
Yeah.
black person.
Oh,
No, I'm
yes.
actually intelligent and
Yes.
I can help you reach your goals. And I'm pretty sure I did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I look, I was a, I am a good employee. So let me just, I'm gonna start acting like Snoop and Issa Rae. I'm damn good. I just want to thank me for being the best employee you ever had. I'm gonna be like
Yeah.
Stephanie Perry. I'm gonna take credit for your success.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just break it down for you. But I remember on one of my jobs, I actually created, because I was working in tech at this time, and I created something. It was like a little system. It was an automatic system. Y'all, I had never done this before. I All I did was look it
Mm-hmm.
up, and I figured it out from a YouTube video, and I created this thing. It was kind of like it helped employees to enter in their just like all of the issues. So it's kind of like a customer service situation that I created, and they input it. So like, and yeah, I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but
No,
like
you're not. You're fine.
they would have to enter in what they needed from us, and then we would actually do the thing that they needed. But I
Mm-hmm.
created this little system. It was kind of like a Google form, where you enter
Yeah.
in your name, what department you're from, what issue you need solved, and it queued itself, routed itself right to our department. Nobody asked me to do that.
Yeah.
Nobody asked me. But I was like, oh, but if I can do this, my boss is going to really like this. He didn't appreciate that. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I'm too good for this job. Like you got somebody
Mm-hmm.
who's like willing to do whatever, go above and beyond and do their job. I was like, you don't need me.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
That's so real. I can relate to that. I can relate to that because I also created new tools that didn't exist in my job. And again, no one asked me to do it. So that's another thing I'm learning. Like,
Yeah.
stick to the bare minimum, right? Because I've always been like someone who goes above and beyond to my own detriment. Like, no, I'm not doing that anymore.
Girl, I
Bare
couldn't have said it
minimum.
better. That's all you
Bare
getting, baby.
minimum. That's
Look,
it.
it was so funny because when I was younger, I remember working around Black people. Like, this is when I first entered the work system. Like, and I remember Black people being like, girl, them white people lazy. Don't you be working harder than you need to. And I always used to be like, oh my God, that is just so stereotypical. Why would you do that? Now that I'm older, I'm like, child, I'm gonna watch you fall over all over yourself. I will not be working
Yeah.
harder than you, faster than you. I'm gonna sit back and watch what you do. Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna work too hard. Not
Mm-hmm.
no more. Not
Yeah.
anymore. I've learned my
Yeah.
lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kathy says, I've had a 2 week rule for years. After 2 weeks, I moved on if I sense issues. That's a great rule. That's a great rule going forward. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, the
That's
2 week
right.
rule. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Piet says, I'm the only Black person who works in the office. I got to get out of there.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Whew.
Yeah.
Can relate to that.
I
Yes.
can relate
Yes.
too.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So can I. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially that kind of brings up like being an intern, right? In the finance space, in the banking world.
Yeah.
Yeah, so often I was the only Black person. And that was viewed as an opportunity to corner me and say some off the wall things so that no one else would be around to back me up. Right. So they like to isolate a lot in these types of
Yep.
jobs,
Oh, they
in
do.
toxic jobs.
That's right.
So they
And play
can,
games.
yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because who's gonna believe her if it's just me and
Yeah.
her? It's her word against mine. That's why
That's
what was
true.
happening during the pandemic was so important when people start pulling their phones out, because there is this natural desire for people to automatically gaslight Black people. Every time we say something, it's always shoved back down our throat like, you're being
Hmm.
paranoid. No, that didn't really happen, until these so called, what are they? I guess you can say white liberals. They're like,
Hmm.
oh no, well, maybe you're just mistaken. And then they start actually seeing evidence that these things were happening to us. And then now all
Hmm.
of a sudden is, oh, you were right. We've been right, y'all. We've been talking about
Hmm.
this. It's what, 16, whatever?
Yeah. Yeah.
Child, we have been telling you guys. We've been telling everybody, but everybody wants to gaslight you and say, no, that didn't happen. No, it did happen. It happened.
Hmm. Yeah.
It happened.
That is so true. Yep.
Yeah.
And like you said, stuff we've been saying for decades.
Mm.
It's like it needs a research study. It's like, well, we've been telling you this. And then the research study comes out and everyone's like quoting it. Like, no, we've
Duh.
been saying this.
Like,
Exactly.
no, dummy. Like, let me stop.
Yeah.
But
And that's why
seriously.
lived experience, right? Lived experience, even coming from the social work field, lived
Yeah.
experience is crucial, that we
Yeah. You
don't
know,
just rely on theories. Yeah.
it, we're in a, I believe that humanity is shifting, and I don't know if you guys,
Yeah.
know this and you
Yeah.
sense it, right?
Hmm.
And let's just talk about some examples. So humanity is shifting. I noticed it because of the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Like, look at
Hmm.
all the things that were coming out, all the things that have been exposed, right? And then also, we're now in an age where victims are speaking up now. They're actually unveiling
Hmm.
things that are happening behind the scenes. You see all
Yeah.
these celebrities, all this stuff
Hmm.
happening to them, and they're like, And yeah, that happened 6 years ago, but I'm still going to tell you about it now because that wasn't okay.
Right.
And you need to know. So people are talking now, and it's time. I think that shift is letting us know that it's time for people to start listening and stop just dismissing what people are saying. You got to start, and I know that there are people out here that are just getting attention, right? Because we also live in an attention seeking era with the
Hmm.
social media and all that stuff, and people filming themselves and filming other people and all that stuff. So that's, that's that. But yeah, I mean, it's real out here now, and humanity is
Mm-hmm.
shifting, and I'm really excited for the positive parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
Really
Yeah,
excited for that.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, you can feel it. You can sense
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Kind of like the power dynamics are shifting. Like, no,
Mm.
I'm not gonna keep quiet anymore
No,
about what I've experienced. Why? Who does that benefit?
it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. It really
Yeah,
doesn't. Yeah.
that's so real. Yeah, thank you, because I've been feeling the same way.
Yeah.
Just gonna read some comments here. Winsome says you were describing real toxic patterns across the board.
Yeah.
Watch patterns that span boundaries, organizational or geographic, usually confirm spiritual warfare. Yeah, yeah, agree
I
with
agree
that.
with that.
Yeah,
I agree with
yeah.
that. Yes.
Fiat says do the bare minimum. I'm quiet quitting every day. Yes,
Girl, me
yes.
too. I did that. I was like, as soon as I started getting tired, I was like, oh no, I won't be
Mm-hmm.
doing more than I'm supposed to. Conserve
Yes,
your energy.
yes. Mm-hmm. That part. Conserve your energy. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Keisha
Yeah.
says me too. Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
case for so many of us. Yes. Yes, the educator says, I refuse to work anywhere where I'm the only Black person again. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Being in that position is just so unsafe, right? You feel so
Yeah.
unprotected,
Absolutely.
isolated.
Yep.
That's so real.
Yep.
That is so real.
Yes.
Hey, Lauren.
Hey.
Yeah, I was just in Lauren's self-care workshop tonight.
Oh,
But
nice.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Oh, good. Good. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I did want to ask you just how your emotional and mental well-being has been impacted by all these toxic job experiences. I know the impact is not small
Right.
from me, like going through all
Right.
this. So just wanted
Mhm.
to see what the impact has been on you mentally and emotionally.
So let me shout out some general things, right? And
Yeah.
and we've all experienced this, we know. So it's the anxiety, it's the
Yeah.
depression, it's the fear, it's about the you're uncertain about the future of your job, it's the inability to sleep, the poor diet, and even exacerbation of previous conditions, right? Or pre-existing conditions. So for
Yeah.
example, like you have cancer or diabetes or whatever, and that stress makes it worse. And those are the things that some of those things I've experienced. A lot of those things I experienced. So, and it's run deep. But I'll be honest with you. When I have a chance to step away from that job, a lot of things are restored.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
and yeah, and I'll give you an example. So, this last job that I left, I was having such issues with sleep. I was literally getting sleep 3 hours of sleep a night. And then once I stopped, I start feeling guilty about oversleeping. I had
Mm.
to I had to tell myself, Yvonne, it's okay that you sleep 9 to 10 hours because your body's healing.
Yeah.
Your body is healing. So take that sleep. Do not feel guilty. Don't let anyone tell you, oh, you're sleeping too much. Well, I just went through something traumatic. I had a traumatic, toxic job.
Exactly.
That sleep is helping you to heal. And now I can sleep through the night, no problem. I'm getting up once a night to go pee sometimes or whatever. Sorry if that's
Hmm.
TMI for anyone, but I'm sleeping better. So
Hmm. I
yeah,
love that. Yeah.
yes,
And like you said, once you leave,
yeah,
you're restored,
yes,
right? Because you're constantly in a very traumatic environment day to day. And because it's been so normalized, right? Being in a toxic work environment, a lot of us don't
yes,
even realize the impacts that it's having on us until we leave. It's like, oh, I can
absolutely,
sleep again. All of these things come back to you. Your
yeah,
creativity, I know we talked about that, comes flowing back to you.
yes,
But it's like
it
when
does,
you're in survival mode. Yeah, when you're in survival mode day to day, it's hard to tap back into any of those things because you're just trying to get
yeah,
through. Yeah,
agreed.
absolutely.
Like you don't have time to. So I think this is why it's important to step back from toxic jobs, and it's important for you to take that time and rest, and um, because things actually start to, like, solutions come to you. You have more clarity of mind, right? So like you're actually able to think straight, think clearer. Things that were evading you at one point, or things that you didn't have solutions for, now you have solutions for them.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to, step back from that and see and compare how you felt while you were on the job, because a lot of people feel crazy while they're working. They
Yeah.
feel they feel unorganized, they feel like their lives are out of control. And if you're working a job that makes you feel that way, you shouldn't be working it.
Mm.
That's my opinion.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
if it's making your life like that, get out of there. And another thing I think that bothers me too is when you have people in your life that are kind of like, oh, girl, that just comes with the territory. Everybody got stress. No, I'm not accepting that anymore.
Hmm.
This is what happens when you start changing your mind and you start healing. You're not accepting that anymore. And that healing gets greater and greater every time. So every time you quit a toxic job, you get smarter and smarter because you start collecting information about what ain't
Hmm.
right, and you start drawing boundaries about what you're not going to do anymore. It
Hmm.
makes you stronger and stronger if you let it. So
Yeah.
yeah, step away,
That's
get out of
key.
there.
That's
Hmm.
key. Yep.
Yeah,
Every time you leave, you pick up
yeah,
more and more information about what you should be in, right? The type of environment you should be in, how you should be treated. So it's like giving yourself grace along the way, because a lot of us are not told this. We're not taught this, how we should be
hmm.
treated. And so it's a process of learning over time, experiencing things that you shouldn't be tolerating
That's
until you
right.
get to the point where it's like, okay, I have the
Yeah,
information and now I'm no longer putting up with that. Yeah.
look, you get smarter and smarter, and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, uh, you know what? So here, I have to tell you this story. I had a supervisor that would ask me, Yvonne, so what do you need? Is there anything that I can do? What do you need? I didn't know I can answer him because this was my first
Mm.
time in that particular industry, and it was my first time doing that job. I couldn't answer him. I didn't know what I needed. But guess what? The benefit of trauma is, because there's a benefit to everything. And no, we don't like to admit it. You're like, oh, trauma so bad. I don't want to experience it. Oh, this is so terrible. But guess what? It's those difficult times. Just like you go to the gym and you build a muscle, those muscle fibers have to tear in order for it to look good, right? So it's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with you. You got to
Yep.
get your butt whooped so you
Mm-hmm.
understand what you're not going to do next time. That's
Right.
why a lot of jobs don't like to hire older people, because you know the game. You are becoming the
Mm.
game. You ain't the player no more. You become the game. Like they say, don't hate the game,
Mm-hmm.
or don't hate the
Mm-hmm.
player, hate the game. That's right.
Right.
I'm becoming the game because I know too much. I done seen too much. And now
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to let you know what I'm not gonna do no more. So another thing too is when you go and do these interviews, pay close attention. So I'm gonna let y'all in. Here's a little tip, a little yummy, yummy, juicy, juicy tip.
Okay.
If you're not in a toxic job already, but you're about to go to another job, I suggest you start documenting the entire process, the entire interview process, because you're
Yeah.
going to learn a lot. When you listen to that person talk about their experience on that job, you're going to learn a lot about how they feel about that job. Pay close attention to their body language, to how they talk about the job. If they can't tell you how your job affects what they're doing and what important piece you'll be playing on their team, don't take that job. If they can't tell you, if they can't communicate with you clearly, like one of the first things I asked my supervisor during my interview, I said, what does my day look like? What exactly am I going to be doing on a day to day basis? If they're not confident in giving you that answer, don't take the job.
Mm.
If they get stressed out, don't take the job, because
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be your future. That's going to be your future.
Wow.
So start documenting. And if you do decide to jump in it, you better understand and know the things that Jackie Abrams taught me and you about,
Yeah.
how to navigate those jobs. So if you're going to jump in it, have the knowledge.
Mm. That's
Yeah.
key. That's key.
Yeah.
Um, And I know a lot of us feel like we don't even have options, right? That we just have to,
No,
that they're doing us a favor in these
no.
interviews instead of us interviewing them as well, because we're spending such a large portion of our time, we're contributing
Absolutely.
our talents. This is a
Yes,
two-way relationship, right?
that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm just as
Absolutely.
important to you as you are to me.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
That part. That part. So to read some comments here. Yes.
Yeah, they are.
5-star Laura. People are fed the. Yes, they are.
Yes, they
Yes, they
are.
are. Yep.
Hmm.
Missip says truth, humanity is shifting. Yes, Yvonne Reckoning.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. It's
I
true.
think a lot of us can feel that too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me see. Winsome says it's the impact of chronic stress on the brain. It is
Hmm.
physiological. Therefore, rest and restoration is inner healing. Loving this conversation. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
good. Good.
Agreed.
Yeah. I
Agreed.
agree with that too.
Yeah. Rest and restoration is pivotal, right?
It
Sometimes
is
you
so
just need
important.
like weeks. Hmm. Yeah. Sometimes you just need weeks to sleep after this
Yeah.
traumatic environment that you just left, right? Give your body time to recuperate, to
Yes.
restore. Because you may not even know like information you're processing right now. Okay, let's see.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Marissa, I'm
did want
sorry
to
you
ask
cut
you.
out. I didn't
I'm
hear
sorry. Can
about
you?
like
Am I back?
yeah, you're back now, but you cut out for a while. So I'll just pretend like I heard what you said. All right. I'm gonna go back and listen and be like, oh, that's what she said. Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm having Wi-Fi
No,
issues. Sorry about that.
that's
But
okay.
yes,
You're good. I can
yes.
hear what you're saying.
Okay. I did. I did want to ask you about exit planning. And how
Mhm.
you made your exit plan, how you eventually left a toxic job for those who may
Yes.
be wanting to exit but not really sure where to start.
Yes.
Anything you'd like to
Okay.
share on that? Hmm.
Yes. Well, I had a conversation with this lady. She's amazing. Her name is Marissa. And Marissa said, hey, Yvonne. Marissa said, hey, Yvonne, why don't you talk to Jackie Abrams? Do you remember that interview that I did? I was like, yes. And I'll be honest with you, I wasn't going to call her. I was not going to call her.
Oh,
I was like, because
yeah.
I'm so accustomed to getting the hell out of the toxic job. I'm so accustomed to, like I said, I'm a track star. When these jobs start acting crazy, I'm out. And there's no talking, there's nothing. So I was like, Yvonne, do it different. Just call, see what Jackie has to say and do it. So I called her, had a consultation, and she was like, all right, you need to at least try. You don't want to walk away without anything. So try. So I went through the process with her. I won't talk about specific details, what like of what happened. I won't talk about like the result of what happened because I did sign an NDA with my job that I just left. So,
Hmm.
but I will say that I'm happy that I contacted Jackie because she did help me. And all I'm going to say is I got the result that I wanted, which has allowed me to take enough time off. I think it's been, what is today? It's the 22nd. It's been like 2.5 months
Hmm.
of me being able to wake up in the morning and not have to worry about hopping on to work with some toxic people. And I'm so happy I did this because this is what I did need. This is what I needed. But
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
because Marissa, also another part, there's another piece to all this. Um, it's the messages that we were taught as kids, right? This factors into how what kind of workers we are and how we handle the trauma on our toxic jobs. And oh my god, I lost my train of thought. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I'm old now,
Oh, you're
but
fine. Oh, you're fine.
oh,
No
but no, I'm sorry. What was your original
worries.
question?
Oh, sorry if I cut out there for a second.
You did. Oh no, I'm sorry. And what was your original question?
Just your exit plan. Any
Oh yeah.
tips or advice you want to share?
Um, so I'll just say this and let me kind of look at my notes a little bit.
Hmm.
With the tips that I have to share is sleep. So I already
Mm.
talked about that earlier. Sleep as much as you can. And do not feel guilty about sleeping because I think a lot of times, so that's what I was going to say. There's these messages, you guys, that we hang on to as kids. And I know one of the messages that I received is you should always be doing something, you should always be busy, right? And then here are
Yeah.
some of the cultural messages. The cultural messages, we got to work twice as hard. No, you don't. I reject that. Just the same way that Stephanie rejects a lot of these notions about how black people need to do this and do that. All that is
Yes.
based all that is based on your approval of white people. Stop
Mhm.
trying to get approval of white people. If you take that out of the equation, you wouldn't be sitting up here talking about I got to work twice as hard. No, you work twice as hard. I want to live
Mhm.
longer than you. I want to live long. I'm not working twice as hard anymore. Okay?
Mhm.
I want to be free. I want to be free to, because see, nobody
Yeah.
questions other groups like when they're like, oh, well, my family and I are going to the other residents, like they have a boathouse and all that crap. Do you hear black people? I mean, there are black people that have boat houses, but who are the groups that are
Mhm.
talking about boat houses? It's hardly ever us. Oh, my family, we're going to take 3 weeks in the
Yeah.
Hamptons and we're going to do this, this, and this. Now, I've been to the Hamptons, but I was working. I was working when I was in the Hamptons. Okay. I was not enjoying myself. I
Mhm.
was now out on the lake in a
Right.
boat and doing all that. Okay. But I guess what I'm
Mhm.
trying to say is give yourself, don't feel guilty about working hard. Hush the cultural messages. Hush the messages you received as a child. Oh, this girl, she always leaving good jobs. Oh, the good jobs that are sitting up here running you into the ground, making you crazy, making you afraid. So sleep, that's number one. It's how
Mhm.
your body heals. Another thing, you guys, go silent. And I'm not telling you to ignore people. There's somebody in the chat. She knows who she is. I owe her a text. I love her. But go silent. Do not talk to people. That's going to further add to your ability to hear yourself,
Mm.
to tap into your intuition, to listen to yourself. Guess what else it's going to do? It's going to help you trust yourself because you're going to hear the voice on the inside and not everybody yapping they mouth on the outside telling you what you should do. So go silent, go to sleep more often. If you can, change your diet, go exercise, go do the things that make you happy. Your joy is a resistance. Do it. And y'all, I'm talking to myself, by the way. I'm not preaching y'all, but I'm preaching to myself. So I just want to make that clear. I get passionate. If I'm offending anyone, I'm sorry, but I'm passionate about certain things that I believe. And a lot of this stuff, I'm telling myself to do this. So if I'm passionate, it's because I really believe that this is what people need to be doing. Maybe not everybody, because I don't know everyone's situation. But for the most part, if that's what you need to be doing, get out there and do it. So go to sleep, go silent,
Mm.
talk to the people that are necessary to talk to. Don't talk to everybody because everybody ain't gonna be, giving you the information you need. Eat well,
Right.
eat better than you have been eating. Go exercise, get fresh air, take care of yourself,
Yeah. Take care of yourself. That's crucial. That's crucial.
and
Yeah. Like,
talk nice to yourself too.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
And like Alicia said, your passion is not offensive. It's inspiring and healing.
good.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Agreed. Yeah, it's not offensive at all. And Lauren has a question. Yes. How do you get past the discomfort of hearing those inner voices? Anything you'd like to share around that?
Um, just stay with it. It'll get
Mm-hmm.
so I think certain changes that you make in your life will heal that. It'll help to heal it. And so be patient first, because it's not going to go away right away. Because, girl, I be talking crazy to myself all the time. But then I have to back off and say, okay, who's important here? And I also have to remember that little girl. I have to remember baby Yvonne, and I have to be nice to her. So one thing that Stephanie said, you're not going to talk nasty to your friends when they're going through something hard. So why are you doing it to yourself? Think about like you're a friend. You're befriending yourself, and you are your friend. Because guess what? Eventually, mom and daddy gonna die, and those are the people that love you the most, depending on your relationship with them. So I suggest you try to really hop in there, be patient with yourself, and talk to yourself nice, especially if you're single and you're by yourself and you don't have a man or a woman, or you don't have parents, then it's all on you. It's all on
Mm,
you. So,
mm.
but yeah,
Thank you.
go ahead and go silent. Like that's been a big game changer for me.
Mm. Thank you for
Yeah,
those tips.
you're
Yes.
welcome.
Um, I have a comment here. I also feel like staying too long in these environments allows for meaning in your life to wither away. It doesn't feel good to dedicate most of your time to something that's harmful. That's profound. That
Ooh,
is profound. Yeah.
girl.
Allows
Okay.
for meaning. Yes.
I,
Anything you like
I,
to share?
oh, I made some notes on this baby. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I'm so happy you pulled that comment out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and answer this question now, because I think you asked me about coping mechanism and strategy. So I apologize for jumping ahead.
Oh, no,
Um,
you're fine.
let's see. Was it that question? No. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm going to jump to this question because this is ties
Yeah.
into what she was saying. So
Mm-hmm.
let me read her comment again. I also
Yeah.
feel like staying too long in these environments allows for meaning in your life to wither away. It doesn't feel good to dedicate most of your time to something that's harmful. Amen. So
Mm-hmm.
let me go to this question, and Marissa, I'll answer some of it because I think you
Mm-hmm.
said, um, what advice would you give to other Black women who may be currently in a toxic job and struggling to find a way out?
Yeah.
The second half of my answer is get out before it becomes a struggle. As soon as you
Mm-hmm.
start recognizing signs that you are getting tired, because I'm going to tell you something. This is how Yvonne knows that she needs to quit a job. And I'm not this type of person. I'm not the type of person that's like, F this mess. But if I start saying that, if I start saying F it, oh, baby, you
Mm-hmm.
better run because I'm done. When I don't care, because there's a lot of stuff I care about. And there's a lot of stuff that I probably really shouldn't be caring about. And I just let it hang on and let it linger. But when I'm ready to cut it off, baby, you better get ready. I am done. Again, I'm about to put
Mm-hmm.
them Nikes on. I'm out.
Yeah.
So get out before it becomes a struggle. I said, taking bad jobs teaches other people how to treat you. It teaches everything you do teaches people how to treat you. If I'm constantly, and I think we talked about this on the phone, if you ain't got boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust you because eventually you're going to get tired and you're going to end up coming at me crazy. And that ain't
Mm-hmm.
going to happen because I'm about
Yeah.
to cut you off.
Mm-hmm.
Have some boundaries. I'm serious.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
there's that. Quitting is setting a boundary. Quitting is setting a boundary. It's letting these people know I'm no longer taking your toxicity. I'm no longer dealing with it. I'm creating a boundary to let you know you don't have access to me anymore. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And you will not be mean to me, and I'm done. The last thing I said is that when you leave a toxic job, it rebuilds trust between you and yourself. You start to trust
Wow.
you start to trust yourself. Yvonne, I'm gonna take care of you because you don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve to have people talking crazy to you, giving you crazy assignments and work that either doesn't make sense or it's just work that just does not. do anything for me, whatever it is, you build trust with yourself and you tell yourself you don't deserve that. And I love you and I'm taking you out of this situation. I want
Mm.
to say something because I don't think I said this through this whole conversation.
Mhm.
I'm not asking people to just hop up and leave the job. If you're not in a position where you can't do that, that's why it's important. It's probably good to maybe call somebody like Jackie Abram, contact
Mhm.
her, even if
Yeah.
like even if you don't go through with it, have a consultation. She might be able to give you some information that might be able to help you and you can do something for yourself. But yeah, um, I'm glad that she left that comment because that's what that brought up for me. So
Mhm.
yep.
Wow. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That
You're welcome.
resonated so deeply. It
Thank
rebuilds
you.
trust with yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rebuilds
'Cause-
trust with
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, because you're not gonna allow
Wow.
yourself to be in environments where you're not valued. You don't value me? Bye. Go get somebody else to do it. Because I'm not doing
Yeah.
it.
Wow. I gotta sit with that one. That's like a
So
journaling prompt for me. Thank you.
mhm.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wow. Wow. Ooh. Um. Yeah. Yeah. Profound. Deep.
Because
Deep.
guess
Yeah.
what? If you had a kid and somebody was screwing with them, and that was one of your
Mm-hmm.
kids, and I don't have any kids, but I got some kids that I do like, and if you start messing with them, and I already told you when we had our conversation on the phone, there's one thing. One of
Mm-hmm.
my soapbox things is I don't like people getting bullied. I do not like
Yeah.
seeing someone get bullied. So as soon as you start talking to a kid crazy, I'm about to pull that kid out that situation. And guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna remove them and then I'm gonna talk to them about how they can better protect themselves next time and tell them they didn't deserve that. And this is where you go. So guess what? You're doing the same thing with yourself. Essentially, you're that child. Think of yourself as that kid. I'm gonna pull myself out of this situation. I'm gonna learn what I needed to learn because this is about what the seventh or eighth job that I don't quit. I'm gonna sit down, talk to myself, and say, all right, Yvonne, this is what we ain't gonna do no more because it don't feel good. You ran out of here crying. No, you would be so
Mm.
angry if you saw a child being treated that way. You are no different. So start
Yeah.
seeing yourself like that.
Yeah. That's so crucial.
Oh
Um.
yeah.
In like even studying like the reasons why we're in a lot of these jobs, right? The systemic factors, of course, systemic oppression, but childhood attachment and how much that plays into it, feeling like you have to stay somewhere because you had to for
Yeah.
survival as a child.
Yeah.
But now as an
Yeah.
adult, you have the ability to take yourself out of these environments. And a lot
Isn't
of
that
us are not taught that,
isn't
right?
that
The
beautiful?
agency. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. Which leads
Yeah.
me to mention the beautiful workshop that you and Angela put
Oh,
together that I
yeah.
attended,
Yeah. Thank
and it
you.
talked
Yeah.
about, yes, I loved that workshop. And it talked about attachment styles.
Yeah.
And I think I told you how important that was for me because it shows me about the way that I appear to other people and it shows me how I show up in the world and what I look like. And so when you get that information, you're able to take that information and say, okay, this is my attachment style. This is how I show up to people. So now how then can I go and fix the things that need to be fixed? And so I can show up
Mm-hmm.
differently in these same spaces that I keep going to. But usually what that ends up
Yeah.
doing is if you start to fix those types of things or even recognize them, it's just going to help you in so many ways. It's going to affect the jobs that you. So here's something I wanted to say too. I had typed out. It's going to affect the jobs that you take, the people that you hang out with. It's going to affect your whole life. As soon as you start understanding and knowing your value, you start showing up different. You start making real different choices. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um. So let's see. What did I write here, or what did I type out? Um, it- I wanted to mention something about systems because we have
Mm-hmm.
a lot
Yeah.
of we got a lot of systems going on. We have, you have your school system, you
Yeah.
got your community system, churches, friendships, families. You got all these different systems. And again, you were given all these different messages, and they inform the choices that you make in different situations. So if you always felt like you were never valuable, or you were disliked, or if you always felt like you were never a part of, it really affects the way that you interact and how you appear in these systems to people. And they also know what kind of categories to put you in. They're gonna be like, oh, that's
Mhm.
Yvonne. She don't speak up for herself, so we can put her through the ringer. We can either get what we want out of her, or we can just get her up out of here, because we know that she's not going to be able to hang with everything we're about to throw at her. So she's in that category.
Yeah.
What? No,
Mhm. Mhm.
no more. And like I said, you get
Yeah.
smarter and smarter. And that's the thing, that's the tea about getting older. You get smarter and smarter, and you're like, we ain't doing that. And so then you start recognizing what these systems are all about, and you decide, no longer am I going to participate and show up in the system the way I have been showing up. And
Right.
you're done. And then the system starts rebelling.
Yes. Ooh.
It's
Yes.
like, it's like you
Mhm.
are it's like you're in the eye of a tornado. That system is pissed because you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, and it's whipping around you, and it's turning, and it's up to you to be as stable as you can in the eye of that tornado, because that tornado is never going to stop. I don't care where you go, it's always going to be whipping around you. But if you can keep yourself steady in the center, in the eye of that tornado, and let that tornado know what time it is, that you're never going to waver, that you're going to be solely who you are based on all that information you've gathered about how you show up in the world, the way you interact with people, teaching people how to treat you by your actions, and all the stuff that you gather together. You let that system take control of that system, and let that system know who's boss. And
Mhm.
like I said, everything that I'm saying to y'all, I'm saying to myself, because I'm working through this piece by piece every day, and it looks different for all of us. But yeah, just
Yeah.
like, yeah, practice more self awareness.
Mhm. Yeah. That's key.
Yeah.
That's key. Um, and thank you. Thank you. Read this
Yeah.
comment from Piet. I'm getting
Yeah.
all emotional over here. Yeah, me too.
Girl, me too.
I the tears were coming. The tears were coming when you said that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just about rebuilding trust with yourself.
Mhm.
Because that's huge.
It is.
If you don't trust yourself, like you are in your body, right? For the
Mhm.
entire birth
Yes.
experience, we're here. And if you
The
don't trust
same.
yourself, what it, you know, what, I don't know. I'm kind of speechless right now by that. That was deep.
The same way that you teach people how to treat you, you teach yourself how you treat yourself. Because remember, all 75 trillion, well, that's what they say. I believe we have infinite amount of cells in our body. All 75 trillion of them cells are listening. They're looking at you like, okay, she's the boss, she's the captain. So
Mhm.
she's telling us what to do and where to go and how to be. So your entire body is a witness to all the BS or whatever it is that you're doing. It's looking at you like, oh, okay, this is what she's doing today. We just gonna follow suit. So if you go ahead and let people know what time it is, and you say, I'm not doing that, then your body will start
Mm.
listening, and you be like, your body be like, I captain, I'm gonna do exactly what you tell me, because I'm listening to you. You're the one who is the captain of your ship. I could never understand that. I had a relative that used to tell me that all the time. She was like, you're the captain of your ship.
Mm.
I had no idea what that meant. It's
Yeah.
all you.
You're the
Absolutely.
captain of your ship.
You
Absolutely.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. And Lauren says, yes, everything you do teaches people how to treat you. Gems. Yes. Yes. Ooh. I got to go back and watch this
I do
because
too,
you.
girl, because I got to remember what I said so I can follow what I said.
Yeah.
Serious. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And you're so welcome. Tajay,
Yay.
hopefully I'm saying your name correctly, but let me know if
Yes.
not. Harmony says this life has been so empowering. Thank you, Marissa and Yvonne, for the supportive space. You're so welcome.
Yes. You're
You're so
welcome.
welcome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything I'm saying is coming from a place of love. Like, I don't care how passionate I get. I've always been that type of person who's just been like, first of all, I'm always questioning things like why do things have to be the way they are, you know?
Yeah.
And then also because I really feel like everybody deserves to live an incredible life, um, no matter what's happening, no matter what the circumstances are. So like, I have gotten out of the. I used to always be like, oh, I can't believe. I used to be always in disbelief. I don't do that anymore. I'm just like, you
Yeah.
just let people do what they do, but you also have the space to create the life that you want to create. Like I love when Rashida's like, I don't talk to white men because guess what? That's the group she's had enough, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Yeah.
had enough, and that's what I love
Yeah.
about life. You can decide the people that you want to be around. You can decide the places that you'll go. You can decide the things that you want to do, and it's even better if you have your money together and you're doing the things that the ladies in the Exodus Summit are doing. So that's the beautiful thing
Yeah.
about life. You have the power to create it. You are a creator. So
Yes. Yeah.
running my
Absolutely.
mouth.
Absolutely. No. No, not at all. You are giving us so many gems, so many journal prompts, so many ways to dig deeper. And just what you mentioned about the system kind of recalibrating, right? When you push back against it, be
It gets
prepared for
mad.
it. It does, because it's a
It
living
does.
thing, right? And
It
people
is a
are
living thing.
upholding these.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
girl. Yes, you said people are
Yeah.
holding it. It's all their beliefs and all their crazy allegiance. It's like a blind allegiance because
Mm-hmm.
human beings are community animals, and one thing they hate is they
Mm-hmm.
hate to be othered. They don't want to be set aside. They want to be part of the group. But that's the
Yeah.
problem with groupthink. You got to be
Yeah.
careful because
Ooh.
sometimes that can kill you. You have to
Yeah.
be able to step back and look at everybody else first, but
Yeah.
then also be strong in who you are. That's one thing
Mm-hmm.
I love. One thing I have to say I love about myself is
Mm-hmm.
that I've never been one who is, um, I never go along to get along.
Mm-hmm.
If I see people, if I see a group, if I pay close enough attention to that group and they're doing something they shouldn't be doing, I'm out. And no explanation. I'm not telling you. I don't have to tell you. I'm out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I cause and that's all. That's practicing agency. I'm making
Mm-hmm.
decisions on my own accord. I'm out. Okay. And yeah,
Ooh.
and be ready for that system. When I say that system's gonna buck, that system might start creating rumors and lies about you, telling people about you, lying. Oh, this person, all of a sudden you become crazy because you're not going along with it. Right.
Yeah.
So, but
Mm-hmm.
just stand strong. Time will heal. You get through it.
That is so true. Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. And I know a
Yeah.
lot of us are like in the same thing. Like we question things. Like, why
Yes.
is this like this?
Yeah.
In this
Like why?
society, yeah, in this society, when you
Yeah.
start questioning things, then you're a threat,
Yep.
right? Because now you're questioning things that are very deep
Yeah.
rooted and that are upholding the current structure as it is.
Girl, and they've been
Um,
happening. They've been happening a long time. And how dare you try to challenge it? Because if
yeah,
you expose it, and then all of a sudden it gets broken down, and people gonna be looking at you like, "What you doing?"
yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's so true.
Oh
That is so
yeah.
true. Yes. Out here disrupting systems. Absolutely.
That's right. And you know what?
Absolutely.
Yes, and I love that because the system disrupting. Do you know where it starts? It starts right with you. when you start to when you start to do things in spite of what other people think. So like when you start to follow your joy and your bliss, that disrupting the system starts with you. I'm not telling you to go run out in the street and have a sign in your hand talk about stop this, stop that, because that's not the way you're going to get change. It starts with you making a decision. What
Wow.
people don't realize how powerful they are. Like I'll be looking at like television, and you see people, they be marching in the street. It's like 50,000 of them. They're like, no, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. The same way that you get out here and you can march for certain causes you believe in, you
Mm-hmm.
can do that same movement in your own life. You can do that
Yeah.
same thing. If people get together and they get behind certain ideas, they can change all of it. We have no clue if the United States all decided, and I know this probably will never happen anytime soon, And I don't
Mhm.
care what color they are, white people, black people, Asians, Indians, if we all decided to get together and eradicate racism,
Mhm.
eradicate poverty, we could all do it.
Mhm.
Because all it takes for us is to tell the system we're not participating because there's more of us than it is the system. So if we
Yeah.
stop doing it, they have no choice but to go along with us. That's why Martin Luther King almost died. You see what he
Mhm.
was about to do? They couldn't
Mhm.
have that man messing up
That's true.
their money. He was about to get
Yeah.
all them people together. They were all different colors, but the one thing they shared was that they were all poor. Can you imagine
Yeah.
what would happen?
Mhm.
Mm-mm. So yeah, start with yourself because
That is
that's
so
all you can
true.
control. Yeah.
That's all you can control. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, and just read this comment from the educator. You
Yes.
are the prize. A friend of mine fell asleep on the way home from work yesterday from a good job that worked them 12 hours a day, 7 days on, 7 off. Car ran off the road and burst into flames and died. I'm so sorry to hear that. That is
I am too.
that's
Oh God.
horrific. That's horrific.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
they were
I'm
in deep.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. And I'm
Mm-mm.
sending you so much love and condolences
Yes. Yeah.
on that. But this is like time sensitive, right? Getting out of
Yeah.
these environments that are harming us,
It
that are
is.
just continuing to exploit our labor left and right,
Yeah.
and not viewing us as human beings, right? In
Yep.
need of rest, in need of care. Like this is pressing. And I think, as we talked about earlier, like we're starting to feel systems shift, right? Because people are like, I'm not willing to tolerate this anymore. Like, what is
Mm-mm.
the end goal here? What is the end goal? You're just going to work me until what? I'm
Yeah.
dead?
Exactly. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, and then I retire at 65. I'm like, ugh, I don't want to be working for you till I'm 65. No, like I don't feel like it. I don't want to be told what to do, where to go, where to be at a certain time, all that stuff. I don't want to do that no more.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah. Stacy says, I've had the same toxic job experience.
Yeah.
Is validating powerful information. Thank you both. You're welcome. You're welcome. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this is so common, right? That so many of us can
It's
relate to
too,
this. Like, it is
oh,
truly ubiquitous. Yeah,
yeah.
in such a horrific way.
Yeah.
But yes, I did want to ask, as you have been on your healing journey, and I do want to be respectful of your time too, because I know we're over an hour. But just on your healing journey,
Mhm.
what steps you've taken to kind of take back your self confidence, right? And realize that you do have skills, you do have gifts, all of these things that may be hard to recognize in a toxic work environment. How you're going about that process of healing and reclaiming yourself.
Um, so uh, something I have not mentioned through this entire interview, y'all go to
Yeah,
therapy if you can.
yeah,
You
yeah,
if you're ready. Like I said, I will never force someone or be like, but go to therapy.
yeah.
Talk to someone, talk it out. And it might take you a few therapists. I'm actually on my third therapist in the
Hmm.
last less than a year now, but talk about these things. Hopefully you can get one that will help you strategize.
Yeah.
Um, so I spend a lot of time um, on social media. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Kev on Stage. And so,
Yes.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So he was in an interview and he said something about therapy. I want to read this really quick and then I'll add
Hmm.
some other stuff in there.
Hmm.
So he said, when you go to therapy, you start to understand a lot of your flaws. Your mind is not challenged by its own self. You're designed to believe you are right for survival. It takes somebody else seeing you in a different manner or seeing a situation objectively and being able to actually say, you were wrong in this and accepting responsibility for that. And I love that
Mm.
because I'm sorry, accepting accountability. And I
Yeah.
like that because essentially that statement summed up is saying, hey, it's good to have someone who is objective, who can point out to you, hey, your thoughts, the way you're thinking is a little funky. Let's change this, right? So The same way you go, and I'm mentioning this again, the same way you go to the gym to look all cute, lifting weights, walking twice a day, whatever you're doing, is the
Mm-hmm.
same thing that you should be doing. Go to therapy and have somebody give you an outward perspective of whatever you're thinking on the inside. So that's one thing. If you can combine therapies, I know I mentioned to you, Marissa, that I was doing what's the therapy where they stick the little needles in you?
EMDR.
Oh no, it's a Chinese
Oh,
therapy.
acupuncture.
Yes, acupuncture. So I started doing that, and I saw somebody, but I think I'm going to try to get another acupuncturist. So maybe I can combine those therapies to see, how that'll help. But the main things I've been doing right now, like I said, has been resting. I've been sleeping. Um, I've been just kind of hanging out and just seeing what comes up, and being silent too. And I'm silent with a strategy because I'm not really talking to people, certain people. And guess what, y'all? I've blocked some people. There are some
Mm.
toxic people I've blocked. I don't even talk to them no more because that's how good my healing has been. I'm like, Yvonne, you got to start doing different stuff because, like I said, I was a kid who was wanting everybody to like me. That's how I was
Me
as a
too.
child. It creeps in
Yeah.
every once in a while now, but and I've always been very agreeable, pleasant, all up
Yeah.
in it. People be all nice to me. I'm like, cool, 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 and I'm still that way. Like it's not like I'm a mean person, but now I know how to create boundaries. If you ain't healthy for me, you got to go. And guess what?
Mm.
I don't have to tell you why. I don't have to be like, oh girl, well this happened. You a mess. If you're a mess and you do some little sixth grade stuff to me, I'm out. You don't get to talk to me. You've lost access to me. And that's showing you how I have agency. So congratulations. You no longer have access.
Wow.
You don't get to talk to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I think I'm pretty
Thank you.
cool. Let me get back on my
Yeah.
let me get back on my Snoop and my Issa Rae. I'm cool. I am bomb. Y'all, I am so much fun. Okay. I'll tell you right now. I'm
You
great.
are.
I
You
am.
are.
Oh my, I'm
All
just
of
a
those
good time.
things.
I'm a good time. And when you mess up, you lose access to all of that. Bye.
Mm.
Bye
Mm.
bye. Yeah.
That part. That part. And I can so relate to that, right? Being that kid that you want everyone to like you,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
transitioning into adulthood and
Oh,
realizing how many people will take advantage of that, right? They see that as weakness.
yeah.
A lot of us are very like sensitive, emotional people, like wanting people to be kind to us in the same way that we are to them. And then you go out into the world and it's like it's a harsh realization
Yeah.
that people view that as an opportunity to exploit you.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get to
And
do
that's
that
where
to me.
boundaries are key. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, so read a few comments here. Mara, yes, I have to be monitored why I have to use the restroom 30 minutes after I start work.
Oh,
I
that's
mentioned this
crazy.
because my manager write this up as an issue that wow. I'm sorry. The surveillance,
Yeah.
the
I'm sorry
constant
too.
surveillance. I'm sorry that you had to go through that.
And you know what?
Ooh.
Bathroom breaks are important, whether you
Mm-hmm.
actually have to pee or not. Because sometimes maybe you just need to go to the
Mm-hmm.
bathroom to refresh yourself so that you can actually go back to work.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
what bathroom breaks
That's
are for.
true.
So I'm sorry that that's
That's
happening.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry too.
Mm.
Ooh. Um, and it kind of reminds me of just the institution of school, right? Just to
Yeah.
touch on that real quick, how much we are primed to enter the workplace, right?
Mhm.
Having to ask for permission to go to the bathroom all
Yes.
throughout, starting from such a young age,
Yeah.
and
Girl.
teachers having the ability to say no, like, no, I
Uh-huh.
have to go to the bathroom.
Girl, like sometimes I was such a good student, but sometimes every once in a while I have to act like a little butt. And one of the teachers would be like, "You can't go," and I'll be like, "Bye," and I'll walk out anyway. I was like, "You ain't gonna tell me what to do because I'm not peeing on myself. I'm not peeing on myself for you, boo boo. Nope." So, and then I would go home and tell my mom, do you know such and such told me I couldn't go to the bathroom? I went anyway. So if you hear anything, my mom's like, girl, don't worry about it.
Hopefully okay. Sorry, y'all. My Wi-Fi is shaky today. Sorry about that.
You're good. Yep.
But yeah. Queen Bee says, "I love that you're not explaining yourself."
I'm
Exactly.
not.
Exactly.
You
That's
guys,
optional.
yes, we're too old for that too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And that lovely woman in the chat right now, she knows who she is that I owe a text to. um, so I think that we're old enough now, and like I'm like this too. If I call you, text you, contact you, and I'm like, hey, how about we do this, and you don't get back to me, I'm not going to get mad because I'm
Mm-hmm.
starting to recognize that people are adults, and there's a lot of challenging things happen in our lives the older we get. Like you start
Yeah.
dealing with different things like death of family members.
Ooh.
You deal with some heavy stuff the older you get, just stuff starts happening. So if you don't have
Yeah.
the grace for somebody who doesn't get back to you right away, you got to know that take into consideration that people are experiencing things and you never know what that might be.
Yeah.
So give
That's
people
so true.
grace because one day that might be you. You might be the one to ghost somebody or maybe not answer their text or their email for a long time. And you
Yeah.
probably will need that grace too. So I try to give people grace.
Yeah. Me too.
Absolutely.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we're taught to view relationships in general as very transactional
Yeah.
in this
True.
society. You do something for me, I do something for you, versus it being like based in
That's
love, right?
another
Sometimes you
thing I
can't
hate.
respond. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's another thing I hate, y'all. Like, why do I have to give you something? Like, what makes that great? Like, because all I'm gonna remember is how I felt the last time we were together. So you giving me something or me giving you something, it's not going to that's not going to do nothing for me. If you're just a cool chick or a guy or whatever you are, and we're friends, and if I have an incredible time with you, like I said when I introduced myself, I love
Mm-hmm.
laughter. If I laugh with you most of the time when I'm with you, and I'm not saying that this is
Mm-hmm.
a deal breaker either, but if I laugh with you, that's going to be fantastic. We are going to get along, and I don't need a transaction from that. That's the transaction
Yeah.
actually I'm looking for. It's the experience with you. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't need things from you. I want to experience something good from you. So if
Ooh.
you got good vibes, if you have good vibes, come, like, let's hang out.
Mm-hmm. I
So
love that. I love that.
yeah.
Experiencing you. That's the gift. Not what
Yes,
you give to
that's the
me.
gift.
Yes.
That's right. Yep.
I love that. I love that. Oh,
Hmm.
yeah. And so as
Yeah.
we're wrapping up, I do want to ask, are there ways that people can continue to follow your journey online? Um,
No, and I'm
I know you
sorry.
mentioned
No, and I'm sorry, but I will start posting on my. So after this
yeah.
interview, then because look, this is my first time. I was a social media version. I'm usually a stalker. Like I stalk people's accounts. Like I'll be on Instagram all day, YouTube all day, all the different social media platforms. I never post, but I do comment, right? Or I might just watch it all
Mm.
day and not comment anything. So now that I'm no longer a virgin, and this is my first time, then I'll start posting my own lives and just getting on here and having a good time and yucking with anybody that wants to yuck. So.
I love that. I love
Yes.
that. And yes, whenever you launch, let me know.
Okay.
Let me know
Okay.
because we will be there. Yes.
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 Okay.
I'm just gonna go through some last comments here before we
Okay.
wrap
Good.
up.
Yes.
Winsome says Yvonne is correct. Silence creates a sacred place and space to listen to God. Spirit to spirit communication creates, inspires, and transforms inside. This conversation is not keeping me silent. That's so
Yes.
true. That's so
Yay.
true. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Scrolling through here. Alicia says I used to take I used to take smoke breaks at my job. I just went outside and stood there. Hey,
I love it.
listen.
I love it. Smoke break. I'm going out with the smokers. I'm just going to talk to them.
Exactly.
I love that. I like it.
Prioritize your peace.
It's in quote, smoke breaks.
Yes. Because I've gotten suspended at my last toxic job because I refused to let management know when I used the bathroom.
That's crazy.
Oh my
I'm tired of it.
gosh.
Good for you,
Yeah,
Fiat.
I'm sorry.
Good
I'm sorry.
You,
Wow. Ooh.
Yeah. Keep on going to the bathroom, y'all.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
The Dark Knight. How did the Dark Knight? Yes, we stifle children's ability to have autonomy or speak up, and we wonder why their communication skills are stifled too. We are stunting our children's greatness by design. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nope. Yes.
Aren't we all? It's a black thing. No, I'm kidding. No, it's not. That's terrible. But yeah, we be late. Yep. Nope. You ain't bugging. Girl, you ain't bugging.
I think I cut out, y'all. Sorry.
No, but not too bad.
Mara says, this combo is validating because it lets me know I'm not bugging and not alone. Yeah.
You're not.
You're not alone. Yeah. Not at all. Not at all.
You're fine. Yep.
The educator says, Yvonne, just what I need in Marissa. Oh, thank you. Never disappoints. Always has the best guest. Agreed. Yay. Agreed. Yvonne, thank you. Seriously.
Yeah, thank you.
When I tell you I have to go back and watch this.
Sure, I'm gonna have to go back and watch it and be like, let me see what I said. So when people be like, and you said this, I'll be like, I don't know. I'll be like, no, I didn't. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, seriously. I'll have to go back and watch it.
Yes.
Oh, another thing,
so
you
many
guys.
gems.
I'm sorry,
so many gems for sure.
Y'all, when you guys get silent, you start finding out who you really are. You figure out who you really are. And also, like, when you stop these toxic jobs and when you start healing yourself, the real you starts coming out. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, sometimes I fight with being my actual self out in public. Want to know why? Because I think as a kid I was so joyful, and I still have that joy, but like I was so afraid that people would always be looking at me like, look at, she always over there laughing. I remember going through that as a kid. So like now as an adult, I literally have to fight to just be my joyful self, because that's really how I am. And when you are silent and you start healing from these toxic jobs, systems, and people and all that stuff, then you start giving yourself permission to really embrace who you are and to really just start being who you are. And also, you guys, I'm finding out it's safe. It's safe to be me. It's okay. It's really okay. And you guys know that for yourself. When you start healing, it's safe. You can be yourself. It's all right. And everything's going to work out. My faith and my trust it's getting stronger. It's not 100%, but it's getting stronger. So you guys will be fine.
That hit me in the heart. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Let's read a few comments here. Mary says, I've been controlled by toxic. Oh my gosh. It won't be by my job. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
A lot of people, Mary, are going through that. So I understand that. Yeah.
The way okay. Smoke a little something. Yes.
Girl.
Yes.
A lot of people got to do that. You ain't the only one.
I was not prepared, but yes.
I wasn't prepared either, but it's not a surprise. Not a surprise. Go with your bad self.
This was great. So glad I got to catch you. Absolutely. Yes. And hopefully we'll see Yvonne live more often in the future.
I hope so.
Yes, yes. So as we're wrapping up, just want to thank y'all so much for being here, contributing everything that you contributed in the comments tonight.
Yeah.
The things that you shared, sending you so much love, right? A lot of
Yes,
these things are
absolutely.
very heavy as we talk about toxic jobs,
Yeah.
right? Because we know that there's a different life that exists. Like getting to that is difficult process, and healing from the
Yeah.
aftermath of what we've experienced in these environments
Yes.
can be really deep work and
Mhm.
heavy stuff. So I want to
Yeah.
send you love.
Yes.
And thank you so much for watching.
Yes.
Yeah, until next time, y'all.
All
Thank you.
right.
Thank you, Yvonne, again.
Yes. All right.
Bye,
Bye,
y'all.
y'all.
Bye.